Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Lydia, Binti nama matrix CF190191. I would like to present about our company background. Our company name is a Geotech Engineer Besarian Berhad, and our company location is located at Bangaram, Batu Pahat, Johor Bahru. In our company had 5 members, which is our director is Noorasyikin Binti Dahari, our project manager is Zetty Binti Zabani, our civil engineer is Natasha Binti Masnawi, our structural engineer is Lydia Binti and the site engineer is Hazirah Binti Saidan. Our description of project is located at Taman Kluang Barat, Kluang JDT. Our purpose of project is to build a comfortable semi-detached home in calm surroundings. Our scope of projects is to focus on designing, building and preparing a double-story house at Taman Kluang Barat, Fasa 3, Kluang Johor, which was estimated started on the 1st July 2021 and targeted to finish on the 13th June of 2022. The design of this project was inspired from the latest design around the Selangor. Overall set area was 50 meter times 80 meter. There were 2 classified of foundations such as shallow foundation and depth foundation. It was required to do investigating at site before starting to design the foundation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hazirah Binti Saidan. My matric number CF190128. I want to present my part, which is chapter 2. For the introduction, in this chapter, we will emphasize the description of the investigation site that have been able go through the BOLOG data from the contractor. This BOLOG raw data will be described to be used as a project description by describing the types of the lands that have been investigated before starting any project construction. In additional, a description of how to retrieve data and handle this BOLOG and coring activity will be explained in detail to give an idea of how the data retrieved. Next, we go into the site investigations. So, the site investigation activity started with a desk study, which is a desk study is among the most value and cost-effective aspect of the site injury. So, at this stage, the site is not visually assessed. Instead, a search is conducted for any information regarding to the sites, such as the environment, constraint, land resource, and so on. So, the next one is followed by the site visit, which is in this place they will discover more about the site project. Furthermore, after the 2 activities are carried out, it possible to determine the aim of the investigation, which is to discover potential geotechnical issue that will occur on the site. So, the site investigation also aims to process the collections of information, appraise of data, assessment and reporting the geotechnical issue that have been found in the site area. The main goal of the site investigation is determine of the sequence of different strata or the position of the groundwater and its fluctuation limit. Those are main purpose of soil exploration, which is it to select among alternative sites, to decide on the depth of the foundation, to select appropriate method of construction, to select and locate construction materials, to evaluate the safety of existing structures, and lastly, to decide on the remedial measure for damaged structure. So, these are few field tests stated at below that we use, which is sound test, static sounding penetration test, dynamic sounding test, touch cone penetration test, cone penetration test, and standard penetration test. So in our project, we use a standard penetration test, SPT, which is this is a test and in situ penetratometer test. So these conventional penetration tests are performed in borehole. The test will determine the resistance of the soil strata to the penetration. In order to conduct this study, there were two for standard penetration tests, which is standard split spoon, Spampler, drop hammer, weighing 63.5 kilograms, guiding rods, drilling rigs, and driving heads.
Hello and good day. My name is Binti with method number CF10179. So today I'm going to talk about the bolt load data. So there's two types of bolt load data that you can get. The first one is the bolt load data from the contractor, where we can get a bolt load data in situ sheet. The figure is, while the figure B shows is the bolt reports with the data that you can get from the consultant. Both of this data will give you a significance value that you needed to design a foundation. That's required for us to do set investigation before we can design a foundation. And one of the field tests that we can do is SPT, which is standard penetration test. So when we do SPT, we can get the SPT value. So the n value should be corrected. So the method can show as in default chart the way how we have how to correct the n value. So before you can correct the n value, you need to classify which type of soil you are. So for our cases, the type of soil is sandy clay. So we assume that it's a cohesionless type, hence we need to calculate the overburden pressure corrected. So we actually refer to a manual guide where all the formula is being given then, and we just calculate what is needed. Table shows all the parameter that you can use to design a foundation. So all these parameter is being calculated by the formulas given in the manual, or based on our pre-assumptions that based on our studies. It shows the cell profile for our collection data for this semi-detached house project. So as you can see, the type of the soil are is starting with sandy clay and end up with the parenthood is a limestone. So basically, the soil can be classified as kind of weak because this was a clay. It's more on clay side, so it's a weak type of soil. I guess that's all for me, and I would like to pass it to my other team members. Thank you.
Selection foundation. The common soil type was a clay sandy soil. Clay sandy soil layer had a moderate ability to hold the nutrients and leaching was less severe. Clay sandy soil was not a good to build anything on it because of its properties, but it can be built if it had an improvement such as use a shallow foundation to the depth foundation. A depth foundation was being suggested to design the foundation because of the depth of the soil profile. Although the depth foundation was costly than the shallow foundation, since it can be carried more loads, it can somehow guarantee structural safety. There were three types of piles which were in friction, end bearing, and combinations of friction and end bearing. We were choosing the end bearing piles for in our project. End bearing piles was developed most of their load bearing capacity at the two of the piles bearing on a hard layer of the rock or very dense soils and gravels. The pile was transmitted the load through the soft, compressible strata directly into firm of strata.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Natasha CF190121. So this is our discussion. Okay, the table, as we can see, the table shows that there are five group of range of the column nodes. So each of the range we will choose one
from each group to perform calculation. So for this table, all the calculation we are using single file. Okay, next table. This is our calculation for the group file. So we choose C4 because it is the largest load from the column. Okay, for the discussion, we concluded that C1, C2, S7, C4, and also C9 shows that the value of the allowable load capacity, which is Q all, is smaller than the value of the load design column, which is NED. So that means the use of the single pile is not suitable for the foundation design as the column had bigger value than the foundation itself. So we know that single pile design for this foundation are not strong enough to accommodate the load of the column and structure on it. So for the elastic settlement checking for all the design calculation, we concluded below that maximum value which is below 65 millimeters. So that means the settlement in the land area is safe and suitable for the structure construction. So thus the load from the column and the foundation can be borne by the soil structure. Okay, from all the design foundation, we comes out with the calculation with the grouping pile. We apply under of the column C4, which we know it had the biggest value from all the load design of the column. So we discovered that the value for the Q all exceeding the load design of column, which indicate that the pile is suitable to accommodate under the column. Okay, for the overall, we found that the use of the group pile is more suitable to be used to design a foundation for a semi-detached house construction project. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Next suggestion in this project, based on the proposed foundation for semi-detached house project on the sandy to silty clay soil. Some suggestion for future research for their reference on this type of soil will be given. In any foundation construction, the design of each feature must be emphasized to determine the safety and the fit of not the foundation to be used. For the co-survey, the issues of design geotechnical capacity of soil and rock to carry load transfer by pipe. Among the recommendations that have been made is to perform thorough subsurface exploration, including in situ and laboratory testing, to determine design parameter. Next, rational and practical method of design. During analysis, we need to perform wave equation analysis. The wave equation can be used to predict impact stresses in a pile during driving and to estimate the static soil restoration on a pile at the time of driving from driving records. If this method of analysis is being used, the effect of significant parameter can be evaluated during the foundation design stage.
Okay, for the conclusion, most of the geotechnical engineering might advise a deep foundation over a shallow foundation for a variety of factors. They have different types of deep foundation, include pile foundation, basement foundation, cylinder foundation, and shaft foundation. So our group decide and agree to have a pile foundation as our foundation type for this project. Our group has chosen the single pile as the calculation for our project. The changing in the soil when properties beneath the structure foundation is what mostly contribute to foundation settlement. In addition, an increase in weight of the foundation will result in an increase in settlement if it was sand or clay soil. Our bore log data revealed that the kind of soil present is mainly sandicid with a trace quantity of gravel. A foundation that was improperly designed exposed risk to the community and its residents. One of the factors in the safety consideration is settlement. The settling can therefore differ between two neighbor columns. So that's all for our group.